always love kicking it off, especially as I get older and new country music stars get younger and younger. What were some of your favorite songs listening to growing up?
Oh God. So I grew up at the start of my life, I grew up listening to a lot of old stuff. My dad was a singer-songwriter, so that's pretty much all he played was old stuff. So a lot of Merle Haggard, a lot of Waylon and a lot of that stuff. And my mom was really heavy into the soul stuff. So my favorite songs growing up. Oh God, that's so hard. I'd say really anything old country like that and anything soul would be in the lane. So it's hard to pick a one single song, but
I know. It's hard for me too. I grew up in a very eclectic world of Guns N' Roses, Prince,
oh yeah.
Toby Keith, Reba McEntire. So it kind of makes sense where I landed. But I didn't know this about you that you grew up on a cattle farm,
Yes.
which for me, growing up a city girl, seems like complete opposites. So, what do you think? Those lessons that were instilled in you. I know my grandma's a farm girl and still at 86 wakes up at 4:30 in the morning. So clearly there are lessons that are just bound to you for life. But what do you think some of those lessons you learned growing up on a cattle farm kind of now translate into your music career?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, when you're dealing with, animals or even, crops or anything like that, it's you learn that a lot of, your business kind of relies on stuff that you can't control a lot of the time. So, kind of being, sort of patient maybe is a big one. Being grateful when good things come at you is definitely a big thing out here. And just being happy when stuff maybe isn't going so well. It's definitely some big stuff like
I
that.
love that. So, obviously, you're from a musical family. So am I. The whole singing, playing guitar, whatever skipped me, but I still love music. But was there somebody that really kind of pushed you to take it to the next level or that like really kind of believed in you from day one? It's a very untraditional career. I mean, maybe not as untraditional for you because you come from a family that kind of already did that. But was there maybe one or two people that really kind of pushed you?
Well, definitely this is kind of bland, but my parents were I mean, my dad, obviously, I grew up, just wanting to be exactly like him. And my mom is probably a bigger music fan than anybody I know. So, like it was never a doubt in my mind this is what I wanted to do in my life. It was kind of just how do I do it was always the question. And I'm figuring that out. And and yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm surrounded by music even more than that. So like everybody that I know that's involved in music is kind of cheering me on, which is a great thing to have in your corner.
I love that. I want to talk about songwriting. That's something I've
Yeah.
always been so jealous that people can do. That is an itch in my brain that I do not know how to scratch. So I always kind of love diving deep. When did that songwriting aspect kind of start for you? I mean, obviously, you said your father was a songwriter. So again, it was kind of in your DNA, but when did you really start putting pen to paper?
So, I mean, like, obviously, like when I was little, I would, write stuff and then you look back at it and it's like, oh, that's cute. But like,
That's
I
cute. Yeah.
remember the first song I really wrote that we were like, well, it sounds decent. That sounds like a decent song. I think I was probably about 8 or 9. And yeah, and so I always, people ask me all the time, like, what is it? Like, what's the secret? Like, what, and it's like, it's as much a mystery to me as it is to you. Like I don't really I wish I could tell you because I wish I knew.
Yeah, you'd have a lot of number ones in your pocket already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. But is there a way that you love to get inspired? I feel like, for me, obviously, I'm not a songwriter, but I like having my cup of coffee in the morning and making sure I have my TV show on before I start my day.
Yeah.
And that really kind of, gets me going. But for you as a songwriter, is there a special place or, a special way that you really love to feel inspired before you put pen
Um,
to paper?
yeah, I mean, I've always liked to write songs in my room, but I found recently that I like to write outside a lot more. So I'll go outside and I'll especially, as the sun's going down or something like that, I feel like is when I write the best.
Yeah.
And then, like I've always been able to I've always had an imaginary mind. And so, like it was easy for me to like make something up and write about it. But I found recently that, writing about true life story kind of is a little more fulfilling to me. So it's harder for me to write about it, but it's more fulfilling. So I'm trying to, get a little more comfortable in that realm, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. And you're so young. I mean, and your songs are so good. It like that's
Thank
what
you.
baffles me is like, oh my gosh, you're at least 10 years younger than I am, and you are an old soul. So I love that. But I want to talk to you about TikTok because I'm sure that is something that your parents, as singer songwriters, lovers of music, were like, we only listened to what was on the radio. We went to Best Buy and bought CDs. I'm
Yeah.
also aging myself because that's how I found music when I was
Yeah.
little. But there are TikTok is my new favorite way to find new
Yeah.
music. So talk to me first about your thoughts on TikTok, and then we'll kind of jump into what happened when you did join TikTok. So was there any hesitations to kind of get on there at first?
Not really. We really were kind of naive to the whole idea. So when I blew my knee out in football, which kind
Oh,
of started this whole,
I'm
no,
so
don't be sad. It kind of started
I
this
hope
whole
your fantasy team is good this year.
and so, I wasn't gonna be able to play football and I wasn't gonna be able to play baseball my sophomore year. And so my mom, she was kind of worried about me, getting depressed or whatever. And so she's like, let's I had written these songs and we're like, let's get in the studio. We'd been talking about it. And so we were like, okay, now's the time. Let's go in the studio. And so we did that. And she started me a TikTok and she says that, immediately these girls started, you know, out of the woodworks, but it's funny because it's not me running the account, it's my mom. So in the beginning, obviously that was the case. I mean, I
Yeah.
ran it, but you know, she
Yeah.
also had access to the
Oh
account.
my God. I bet your mom just got the biggest just giggle out of all of those
Yeah,
comments, or I'm sure slew of DMs that you got
yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning.
And so, yeah, I mean, we started that, and then we were in Key West on vacation. So we released Tyler Bynes in March,
Yeah.
and then in June we went on vacation to the Keys, and we were staying in Marathon Key. And one night I was going to bed, and I was like looking at my phone, and I was like, we got a lot of Instagram followers. That's so weird. Like, why? And so I went to bed, kind of turned my phone off and just went to sleep. And then I woke up the next morning, my sister's like on top of me, shaking me. And she's like, hey, have you seen this TikTok? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen this TikTok. And I look at it, and it's kind of one of those like copy and paste, like new music you should be listening to if you haven't listened to it already.
Mhm.
And it had like 300,000 likes, and it was Tyler Bynes. And and that was like overnight. And so we went that day we were going to drive from Marathon Key to Key West. It's like a 45-minute drive. And in that drive, three record labels reached out in about 45 minutes. Yeah. It was kind
Like,
of
I'm just trying to be on vacation. Yeah.
it's kind of an out of body experience. It's
Yeah.
very strange. And you never really think that, overnight success is really real. You kind of like, oh, that's a movie thing. But it
Yeah.
really was like that. It's kind of weird.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess we'll jump into Let Them Talk. I mean,
Yeah.
it is all over. It is everywhere. It's such a phenomenal song, too. It's one of those songs that I'm like, oh, yay, TikTok did its job. Like, blowing up something that, I feel like you said is real and raw. And I can picture you writing on your back porch or in your room. But for everybody that loves this song, give us a little bit of insight. Where did you write it? Where did you kind of come up with this great idea?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to be able to write with a person I look up to very much so, a man named Anderson East. He's kind of a soul guy, and he's amazing. And I wrote that song with him and another guy named Trent Dabbs. And we were in Nashville. We went to Anderson's house into a studio. I kind of had a melody idea. I really didn't have like much to go on, but I was like, guys, y'all like this melody? And they were like, yeah, let's do this. And we kind of, figured out the storyline we wanted and worked that all out. And it turned out pretty well, I think. So I'm very proud of that song. And and very thankful I was given that opportunity to be able to
I
write.
love it. What has been your favorite fan reaction so far? And is your mom still going through your DMs?
No, 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 she's out on that.
She's out. You're out, mom. No more
Yeah.
password for you. But yeah, what's been your favorite fan reaction? I mean, I've loved seeing people using the song, obviously to their own stories or whatever. But has there maybe been a video or a message or something from someone that's kind of really stuck with you from the
Well,
song?
the biggest thing to me, the one that like really hits me is live. When you're playing live and you see these fans on the front row literally just like losing control of their emotions. It's pretty awesome to watch and know that, you can do that for somebody and make their night or their week or whatever. And that's the best part to me, I think.
I know. Well, you're going to get to continue to do that because you're
Yeah,
going out with one of my favorite people, Mr. Randy Rogers and his band,
we
which,
already did that.
oh, well, how was it?
That was amazing. It was
Okay,
probably the
tell me
most fun
more.
we've ever had on the road. We did 8 shows with them, all in Texas, and they are probably the best group of guys I've ever met on the road. They're awesome.
Randy is probably one of the best people, but I got to ask you, I feel like he's an advice giver. Did he give you any advice? Did he tell you
Oh yeah,
anything? I mean, the guy's been in the industry as
yes,
long as
and
I've
and
been
all of it
alive.
all of it was well received. But yes, he gave a lot of advice that I was very thankful to hear and listen to.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know you're going on your own tour, right?
Yes,
So we
yes.
got that going. What are
Starting
you
this
most
weekend.
nervous about? I mean, obviously, you are excited to see the people losing their minds in the front row. I mean, who wouldn't be? But is there something that maybe you're a little nervous about?
I wouldn't say I'm usually not a very nervous person. I'm kind of go with the flow. My family likes to make fun of me that I'm the most chill. I mean, I would say less nervous, more excited and maybe a little anxious to see, like the crowds of like places I've never been before. But that's more exciting, like I said, I'm not really too nervous about it.
I love it. How's the set list coming along?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're adding songs and we got 7 sold out shows on the tour. So the set list is coming along good. So I think it's a good mix of songs. I think it's a good kind of you get a good feel of who I am as a person, I feel
I
like too.
love it. Will you be teasing any unreleased songs while you're on tour?
We will be.
Aha! I knew it. Okay, so talk to me about teasing some of those unreleased songs. I know that fans, I mean, me included, get such a kick when somebody's like, "Hey, I wrote this yesterday. You guys want to
Yeah.
hear it?" So, kind of chat with me about the excitement of working those into your set as
But
well.
yeah, I love it. So we're teasing a song called Worries of Sickness right now.
Okay.
That's going to be our next release and that we've already integrated into the set list. And I'm excited about that one. We have another one on the way. It's always exciting to see, fan reactions to new stuff and just to know that I'm, they don't think I'm doing anything wrong. It's always good to see. But no, I'm excited. Things are looking good and going good.
I love it. I can't believe the year is almost over.
I
Spooky
know.
season is upon us. I feel like the older I get, the faster the year goes. But you've already had so much happen to you in such a short amount of time. But I always love wrapping up the interviews, kind of asking you about your personal and professional goals for the rest of the year. So if there's, one or two things you're hoping to check off that big checklist for this year, what would they be?
We're well, just selling out more shows on the tour.
I
Selling
love
more
that.
tickets is always good. It's always good. And just getting out there, making sure people are listening to the music and having a good time is really our goal.
You're listening to